Welcome to the Shmuley Show, episode 4, 2025. God bless you guys. You know, John Stewart's one of my favorite broadcasters, even though he's a bit of an Israel hater. A proud Jew, but an Israel hater. But I love when he says, boy, do we have a show for you today. That is true today of us. Boy, do we have a show for you today. But I'm not going to waste my time talking about how amazing it is. You're probably thinking, Shmuley, your shows have been perfect until now. How do you improve upon perfection? Easy. There are degrees, infinite degrees of perfection. We've already climbed through the 2,000-3,000th degree of perfection. There's billions to go. Every day we climb another 30, 40 rungs. So remember I said to you guys that Candace Ovens, America's foremost anti-Semite, would self-destruct. I told you that. All haters ultimately self-destruct. There's only two questions. How many victims will they take with them before they self-destruct or before they're destroyed? And B, how much will we fight them? So take Senator Joseph McCarthy. He saw a red behind every, some were communists, but behind every innocent American. Until he was confronted by the Army attorney in the Senate hearings and said, at long last, have you no decency, sir, have you no decency? Censured by the Senate, died at a young age. Tragic, but look at how many lives he destroyed. We knew that Senator Joseph McCarthy would self-destruct. It was just a question of when and how many lives would he destroy. He destroyed tons. Anti-Semitism is 1,000 times worse. Hatred of communism is a new thing because it could only start with Karl Marx and then with Lenin. Hatred of the Jews goes back 2,000 years. I told you guys that Candace Ovens would self-destruct. And sure enough, because why? The greatest American of the 20th century. By the way, because our studio is new, the mobility of the cameras is still something we're working on, but I would show you. I'm not going to move the camera now because then we'll have to readjust it, waste a lot of time. But right there in the corner, I'm pointing, I have a lot of paintings and photographs, family, my children, my grandchildren, and Jewish heroes. Lubavitcher Rebbe, foremost, number one, biggest painting over there, my Rebbe. But the highest, literally, the painting that's the highest is one of Martin Luther King, the greatest American of the 20th century and my personal hero, whose life is, he was the greatest. Martin Luther King famously said that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Let me repeat that. You should all memorize that. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. So I told you that Candace Ovens would self-destruct. Sure enough, look at this. Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel Macron finally did the right thing, however degrading to them, and it's very degrading, and I feel so sorry for her. I'll talk to you in a moment about my encounter with her at Auschwitz on January 27th of this year. Brigitte Macron and the president of France were finally forced to sue disgusting, vile, reptilian, troglodyte, Neanderthal, anti-Semite Candace Ovens. Now, they're not suing Candace over anti-Semitism. Indeed, Macron's record on Israel is bad, not good. I'm not saying he's an anti-Semite, but he's anti-Israel. Often the two are conflated. Sometimes they're not. But I am very grateful to Macron and his wife for having gone to the 80th commemoration of the liberation of Auschwitz on January 27th. That's when I met them. And I walked over to Brigitte Macron, and I have an incredible picture. Let me see if I can get it here on my laptop. I walked over to her, and I really felt for her. Here's a mother of three being called a dude every single day by Candace Ovens. And we took this picture together. I hope you can see this. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay, we'll put it up on the screen. We took this picture, and I whispered in her ear, and I said to her, Madam Macron, Madam First Lady, I said, I want you to know that the only person that Candace Ovens hates more than you in America is me, Rabbi Shmuley. And she knew who I was, and she knew that I had defended her infinite times. Because what does it take? It's one thing, Candace hates all the Jews. She's a disgusting American Nazi. But why does she hate the First Lady of France so much? Answer, ka-ching! With Candace, it's always about money. Candace went after her because she saw there was a niche market of people who were saying that the First Lady of France was a dude, and if she extrapolated and obsessed over it, she would get more followers. More followers means more money. It means more advertising revenue. Candace lives for money. She married a billionaire. I feel so sorry for the guy, but I especially feel sorry for her father-in-law, Lord Michael Farmer, who's such a decent man, who condemned his own daughter-in-law, knowing that she could even limit access to his grandchildren, which no doubt she probably does because she's that vile. He condemned her and said how disgusting her views are. But Candace Ovens, I want you to think about this. Remember, so in the last show I said to you that anti-Semitism is all based on the desire of wicked and evil people like Candace Ovens or Tucker Carlson or Dan Bilzerian. We'll talk about him in a minute. He's challenging me to an MMA fight. I told you that anti-Semitism is all based on jealousy of the Jewish people as God's witnesses to morality. Not jealousy of Jewish money. We haven't had money until recently. Jews have made money since the Second World War. Look at the Holocaust and see how much money we had. Look at, the shtetl and see how much money. Look at the pogroms against us in Poland, in Lithuania, in Russia, and see how much money. We were dirt poor. It's jealousy that God gave us this mission as his chosen people to make sure that there are no Dan Bilzerians who, did he allegedly rape women or something like that? I can't remember. He has tons of stuff. And of course, Klandace Ovens is just a reptilian pig. Tucker Carlson, disgusting liar, now says that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent, invented out of whole cloth. And these guys almost tempt you to sue them because then they can become victims. In any event, but Candace, I said to you that the proof that anti-Semitism is all wicked and evil beyond hatred of the Jews is that if you look at the character of the anti-Semites, they're evil in every respect. So Klandace Ovens has two obsessions: the Jews. Yesterday she said that Elie Wiesel, my great mentor, my hero, whose painting is right, it was made by my daughter Sterney, is right underneath that of Martin Luther King. She said he never was in the Holocaust. Do you know how disgusting you have to be to say that the man who died at 87 years old, 9 years ago, the world's greatest witness to genocide in the history of the world, was a fraud and a faker? That's how vile she is. That's one group. But the other place is Klandace Ovens lives in Brigitte Macron's crotch. Let me repeat that. How sick a woman do you have to be, Candace, to live inside the crotch of another woman? Your imagination is in Brigitte Macron's crotch. Your creativity is in Brigitte Macron's crotch. Your every thought is in Brigitte Macron. If you have some obsession with Brigitte, write her a freaking love letter, baby. I mean, is all this her rejection of you, perhaps? But now there's finally a comeuppance. Now there's finally a freaking price to pay because Klandace is being sued by one of the most powerful men on earth who should have done it a long time ago to protect his wife's reputation, Emmanuel. Emmanuel is a biblical name, one of the most beautiful, and it means God is with us. By the way, my Christian friends are going to say that in Isaiah it says, Isaiah 7:14, they call that the virgin birth. We call it, it's a different thing. We don't believe in the virgin birth, but I'm here to we'll talk about kosher Jesus some other time. But in Isaiah 7:14, it says that the name of the Messiah is going to be Emmanuel. You know, Macron, by the way, he could have been, by the way, this looks like it froze, but Brigitte Macron could have been Israel's Messiah and finally defended Israel against Hamas. Instead, he decided to criticize the Jews. But Emmanuel, baby, which means God is with us. You got to be with your wife. You should have sued Klandace a long time ago. I know why you didn't, kind of, because why would the president of France, one of the most powerful men on earth, have to lower himself to this? And by suing Klandace, you just give this disgusting lie that she's a man, vile lie, more attention. I understand your dilemma, Emmanuel. President Macron, I get it. That's what we Jews face every day. Should we respond to Klandace's stuff that Elie Wiesel was a fraud? By doing that, we just give her attention. And that's all she wants. Klandace Ovens, I'm a relationship expert, thank God. I've written international best-selling books that have been translated into 20 languages on broken men, on broken women, on broken relationships, on adultery, on child rearing. I was Oprah's marriage parenting relationship expert on the Rabbi Shmuley show on Sirius XM. I have to tell you, Klandace Ovens is one of the most damaged human beings I have ever seen in the public spotlight. She glories in three things: hatred, money, attention. She will do anything for attention. So I understand that the president of France had a dilemma. Should I give Klandace this attention by suing? But you had no choice because she's saying this to tens of millions of people. So when I saw Brigitte Macron at Auschwitz, and thank you, President Macron and Brigitte and Emmanuel, whatever issues you and I have over Israel, and we've got a lot of freaking issues on Israel, Emmanuel, but I still thank you, and I thank you there. I put my arm around you, you put your arm around me. We're best buddies, baby. I thank you for coming to honor the 6 million on the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. And I said to Brigitte Macron, I said, please don't judge Americans by Klandace Ovens. She's an American Nazi. She's what you French fought against in the Second World War. She's a disgusting hater. But I believe that Klandace Ovens, I told you she was going to self-destruct. I believe that this lawsuit, and I could bring 20 lawsuits against Klandace and all of her lies. I hope the Wiesel family brings, I hope my good friend Alicia brings an immediate lawsuit because Klandace yesterday said that his great father, one of the greatest humanitarians that ever lived, was a fake and a fraud and wasn't in the Holocaust. I hope he sues her as well. But I believe that with the resources that the president of France has, I think this is the end of Klandace Ovens. And I feel very bad for Lord Michael Farmer, a very decent man, her father-in-law, who's the deputy chair of the ICJ. Gabe, what does it stand for, ICJ? No. I knew Gabe would say that. Can you give me the one in England, which is the Council of Christians and Jews, CCJ? No, look it up. You have a freaking computer. CCJ, the Council of Christians Jews. Lord Michael Farmer is the deputy chair, and he loves Jews, and he condemned his own daughter-in-law, disgusting Candace, and I feel bad for him because he's the billionaire who made all the family money, and now it's going to disappear into the coffers of the Macrons, probably, unless, Lord Farmer, you're a great man, unless you took real precautions when Candace married into the family to really wall her off with some incredible prenup, because she's going to be sued for $1 billion. I mean, Brigitte Macron has an international reputation. This disgusting, vile Candace says that she's a dude. You know how hurtful that is to her children? Do you know how hurtful that is to her? CCJ, Council of Christians and Jews. And Lord Farmer is the deputy chairman. So, Lord Farmer, I hope you shielded your money in an incredible prenup between your son and Candace, because otherwise all your assets could be forfeit to the Macrons, because you're a really good man. I feel so sorry for you that this vile, damaged, psychotic hater, Klandace Ovens, truly one of the most damaged human beings I have ever seen in the public sphere, married into your family. I'm sorry. But do something now, man, Lord Farmer, because you made all the money, and I believe in capitalism, and you're also a philanthropist. You give money away. God bless you. I don't want the Macrons having to take it all from you because of disgusting, vile Candace. Which brings us to the next anti-Semite of the day. Dan Bilzerian. So a member, by the way, Gabe, you have to publicly apologize now for saying the word ICJ and desecrating the sanctity of this temple studio of ours. Gabe, this is not a frickin' studio, baby. This is like a synagogue. This is where the word of God goes forth. And you can't say International Court of ICJ, that anti-Semitic, Jew-hating thing that exists just to prosecute any Jew who defends himself. Every country, every people are allowed to defend themselves, except the Jews. Get on the damn trains. And, you know, the funny thing, and Gabe, you owe me, Gabe is flashing his tush at me. I appreciate that. Thank you. And showing me, does this mean I'm number one? Is that what you're trying to tell me? It means I'm number one? Thanks. I thought that's what you were saying. But Gabe owes all of us an apology for saying that and desecrating the holy temple of this incredible studio. Gabe's part of our production team. So is Johnny. We're all an incredible one team. We do not desecrate these hallowed halls by invoking the name of the ICJ. Never. Not now. Not ever. Okay. Got that out of my system. I feel so much better. I forgive you, Gabe. Not because you deserve it, you don't. It's because I just have such a generous spirit. Because love overfloweth from my hearteth. That's why. Now, let's go to Dan Bilzerian. I never knew who Dan Bilzerian is. So I discovered the guy has like 36 million followers, which he was bragging about to me today in some text through our staff, that he's not going to platform me because I have no followers and he has all these followers. So I didn't know anything about it. How did he get 36 million followers? It turns out, basically, he's like a soft porn star. So he puts women's breasts and women's genitalia and God knows what else. And you can, by the way, Dan, you know, I think YouPorn or YouTube or whatever that porn thing is, probably has more followers than you do. And you're just a porn star. But you're worse than that. I think, allegedly, there's all these allegations against you, rape and God knows what else. You're a pig. Okay. But it turns out you're also afraid of a 5'5" Jew. Dan Bilzerian has been writing my staff all these crazy, sick, insane emails about what a pig Jew I am, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then he actually challenged me to an MMA fight. Okay, I'm not going to stand up to my full height, because even if I got up, I'd only add 3 or 4 inches. I'm 5'5". I am a small Jewish grandfather of 12 grandchildren, father of 9, thank God. I'm 58 years old. Dan Bilzerian's 44. Do I like the gym? Not really. But he needs to be all pumped because he only gets followers hanging out with women with their boobs and God knows what else, and that's his whole profile until he abuses those women. Really sad. What a disgusting misogynist. But I told you, all anti-Semites are evil. you will see that in their private life, they're all evil. Remember, the first person Hitler gasses is not the Jews. It's rather the crippled, the disabled, the mentally handicapped. It was the German children he first killed. All anti-Semites are not evil towards Jews. They're evil in every aspect of their life. And Dan Bilzerian is a troglodyte. He's a half-witted, half-celled troglodyte. So when he started writing to me, I said, let's debate. What was supposed to be a debate, and Dan, if you're watching, which you are, you're obsessed with me. All of you Jew haters are obsessed with Jews. Hey, Dan, let me be straight. You can have 100 people in the debate against me, and I'll take them all. Because you don't know anything. I don't even know that you're literate. You probably don't even know how to read. But you can have 100 of the best anti-Semitic historians, if there are any, people who claim to be. You can have them all, 100 to 1. That's my deal. And I will still destroy all of you, guaranteed. We can even put a cash prize up with independent, neutral people who will vote about who won the debate, 100 to 1. But as far as putting me in an MMA thing, no, you're just a schoolyard bully. What is he, like 6'4"? You just want to beat the crap out of me. What does it say about it? Here. Oh, king of Instagram allegedly assaults woman in Miami nightclub. What's the date on this? 2014. Okay, 2014. So Dan Bilzerian, who now wants to beat the crap out of me, has already allegedly beat the crap out of a woman in a Miami nightclub. That's what a sicko, vile. By the way, that's going to be part of our response to him. A sicko. He wrote to me today, I'm a man with no honor. Okay. Anyone who beats a woman is a frickin' troglodyte. Ugh. You lift your hand toward a woman and you're a sicko. So, sicko Dan Bilzerian wants me, Rabbi Shmuley, author of 36 books, thank God, many of them international bestsellers, rabbi at Oxford for 11 years, etc., winner of the London Times Preacher of the Year competition, and still the record holder for that competition, thank God. He wants me to suddenly shift away from my intellectual pursuits, as a public intellectual, I hope, and as a best-selling author, thank God, and get into the ring with him. Really, Dan? I wrote to you and said, listen, if you want to debate 100 to 1, bring anyone you want. I'll destroy you. I will. Guaranteed. God willing. But if you want to fight me, I said, you're 44. I will bring an ex-IDF soldier, your age, 44. I'll even give you 3. You can cancel 2 out and you can choose 1. Dan, will you agree? I want to show you the Jews today and how they deal with people like you. You want an MMA fight. I'm going to find someone who knows Krav Maga, ex-IDF soldier. You call us Jews wussies, pigs, cowards. Will you fight? We're already looking. We already put out the word throughout social media. And I know a lot of ex-IDF soldiers. By the way, many of them are current IDF soldiers. You have to serve in the IDF until your mid-50s. While you're allegedly assaulting and brutalizing women in Miami, Dan, Jewish men are fighting to protect women. Arab women, Jewish women, Christian women, Druze women in Israel. They're fighting in Lebanon. They're fighting in Hamas. So Dan Bilzerian, I'm looking right at you and I'm saying this clearly. Will you agree, since you challenged me to an MMA fight, will you agree to just fight someone who is your equal? Someone who's 44 or someone in their 40s, even 50. Will you agree? Or are you a little girl who's going to run and cry to his mommy? The Rabbi Shmuley taunted me on his show today. I can beat up women, allegedly, in nightclubs. I can beat up Rabbi Shmuley. He's only 5'5", but he wants me to fight an IDF soldier who's going to kick my ass. Mommy! Bring me some woman who I can allegedly brutalize, but a tough Jew fights in wars? Dan, let go of your mother's skirt, you frickin' coward, and be a man. Coward. So that's Dan Bilzerian. I need to talk. How much time do we have? I need to talk about Elie Wiesel. So, why do all of the anti-Semites come after the Holocaust? And think about the contradiction. The other day, for those of you who watched the Piers Morgan show, I think, Johnny, what are we up to? 1.5, 1.6 million views, I think. One of the most watched shows that he's done recently. It was me. It was 1 against 4 as usual. It's always, that's what Piers does. I don't mind. I don't mind if it's 1 against 100 because the truth will stand if it's 1 against 1,000. And I've destroyed, thank God, in debate virtually every Israel critic or Israel hater, whether they were Jewish like Peter Beinart, the biggest self-hating Jews in America, who I ripped to shreds at Columbia University, Tel Aviv. Watch it all on YouTube. Or what I did to Mohammed Hijab, one of the world's most followed Islamists in the English language on Piers Morgan. Or what I did to Klandace Ovens, where she actually pulled out a computer and had to use ChatGPT to debate me. I'm not making this up. Go and look at the debate. I know how to debate, thank God. Not because I'm particularly skilled. It's because I debate the truth for my people and for morality and for human rights. And that's what we Jews are all about. And yet, in that Piers Morgan show the other day, like Piers and this really nice guy who I liked, was kind of fair journalist in Britain, which is saying a lot to find any kind of fair journalist. He said, Rabbi Shmuley, don't you see that since the war in Gaza, Israel and the Jews have so squandered, I said, look at the time, okay, has so squandered. By the way, we're still setting up our studio. We're going to have like clocks and all that, but thank you guys. You're seeing the early days, baby. This is where it's raw. This is where it's naked. This is where it's unfiltered, baby. This journalist says, Shmuley, don't you see how you Jews have squandered all the world's sympathy in the war in Gaza? And to that I respond, I don't know if I want your sympathy with Zyklon B gas in my lungs. I thank you for loving dead Jews. I thank you for your sympathy for the 1.5 million Jewish children who were killed, the 33,000 Jews who were shot and put in a ravine at Babi Yar, right, in Ukraine. I thank you for your sympathy for all the 1 million Jews who were killed at Auschwitz-Birkenau, the 900,000 who were killed at Treblinka, the 500,000 at least who were killed at Belzets. I thank you for loving dead Jews, but we kind of want to live even if you don't like us. So if the world loves dead Jews, and there's a great book by that title, but just hates the living ones, like yesterday, Mahmoud Khalil, is that his name? The guy who's now suing Trump for $10 million or whatever, and Columbia University anti-Semite. He said, I'm not an anti-Semite. Of course he's not an anti-Semite. He only hates living Jews. Dead Jews he loves. He will go to a Holocaust movie and say how terrible it is that 6 million Jews were dead. Then he'll work on the next 6 million. We don't want your sympathy. We want to live. We don't need you to like us. We don't need you to frickin' like us. We don't care if you have sympathy for Israel or the Jews. Do you think the black community cares whether you have sympathy for George Floyd? No, they don't want black men killed by the police for passing a $20 counterfeit bill. That's not enough of a reason to execute a black man. And I'm not saying that the cop did it intentionally to execute, but there's no question that what he did was a frickin' crime, and he's sitting in jail for it. And the black community didn't come along and say, we'll overlook the death of George Floyd as long as you like us. Please like us. This is a Jew who doesn't need you to like him. I don't need your frickin' sympathy. I don't need your frickin' approval. I don't need your frickin' endorsement. I will live, and we Jews are forever. We are eternal. You've all tried to wipe us out, and you have all frickin' failed, and you will continue to fail. And we will do what our great president says, greatest friend we've ever had in the White House. Fight, fight, fight. I don't care if you like us. Israel will have so much sympathy. After October 7th, after your women were raped and their breasts were cut off and they were thrown around severed breasts like baseballs, and after they were shot in the genitalia after being, so many people felt sorry for you. Shove it. I don't want it. I want those women not to be raped. I want those children not to be burned alive. I want people not to be decapitated. How much time, Johnny? And that's why these disgusting people always go after the Holocaust. Why does Candace Ovens have to go after the Holocaust? Why does she have to attack Elie Wiesel? Because what she's saying is, I even hate dead Jews. Candace Ovens hates the Jews so much that she even hates the dead ones. There are some anti-Semites who kind of like dead Jews, and they'll make Holocaust movies about us, and they feel so bad, the Israeli women that were raped, as long as they stay raped and dead. But they love dead Jews, but they hate the living ones. They hate the IDF. They hate the ones that fight back. They hate people like me. I wake up to 1,000 death threats a day, give or take. Candace Ovens even hates the dead Jews. She even hates the Holocaust victims. Elie Wiesel's parents were slaughtered. I was with Elisha Wiesel when we went. We don't know exactly which of the 5 crematoria at Auschwitz. His aunt. Elisha's only in his 50s. His aunt We're in the year 2025, 80 years after the Holocaust, and this man's aunt was killed at about 8 years old, gassed in one of those crematoria. And I said to Alicia, could you imagine? We don't even know. It's five crematoria, and they were bombed by the Nazis to try to conceal their genocide. And I said, Alicia, this might be the place where your grandmother was killed, along with Tzipora, holding her hand, straight to the gas chambers. Klandace Ovens even hates them. She'll even go after Elie Wiesel. There is no depth to which this reptile will not sink. She hates the living Jews and the dead Jews. That's a unique kind of anti-Semitism. Even Hitler was going to create Prague as a museum of an extinct people. He was going to try to remember. That's why Prague has so many. That's why the Prague cemetery wasn't destroyed. They wanted a museum of the living people, a museum of an extinct people. Even Hitler was going to remember the Jews, but not Candace. She hates the living and the dead Jews. She hates the very word Jew. And you know what, Candace? It's Judgment Day. Judgment Days are coming. We got 5 minutes? Okay. Finally. Some guy sent, I want to just tell you guys, sticks and stones will break my bones, or let's say anti-Semites beating the crap out of me, shooting me, God forbid. I get these threats all the time. We've met with the FBI many times, et cetera, et cetera. But names will never harm me. Not exactly. I mean, names harm people. Defamation. Goebbels is one of the architects of the Holocaust because of all of his slander against the Jews. I can't find it here, Johnny, but... Oh, here, I found it. I am now the retard of the day, according to Find Retards. And the funny thing about being the retard of the day is, how many people saw it on X? 200,000. So I want to thank whatever that X account is for bringing my gorgeous face to 200,000 more people. I am the retard of the day. You see, any Jew that fights for his people is a retard. Little do they realize, all you're doing is maximizing my absolute conviction to destroy the anti-Semites and anti-Semitism. I am a frickin' ferocious Jewish lion, thank God, baby. I hunt anti-Semites. I mean, I would never do anything illegal. I'm not like you guys, but I will get the law to prosecute you. We will sue you when you defame us. We frickin' fight back by every legal means, unlike you guys. But I'm the retard of the day. And that brought me to another 200,000 people, which brings me to one final thing. About a year ago, I dressed up as a Klandace Ovens Jew. It got her fired, but everybody attacked me. So Candace was saying Jews drink the blood of Christians. They're only into money. They're killers, etc. And everyone was letting her do this. And Ben Shapiro was letting her do it. And he was making millions of dollars with his yarmulke, making money off anti-Semitism. Hard to believe. Yesterday, we did an image of Ben Shapiro as Dr. Frankenstein creating Klandace Ovens, who he's never once condemned, even yesterday after she again denied the Holocaust. First, she denied the Mengele experiments and said they never happened. Then she actually said that Elie Wiesel is a fake Holocaust survivor, and Ben Shapiro still won't say anything because he's afraid of a lawsuit. That's courage for you. The IDF soldiers are in Gaza and Lebanon, Ben, and you're afraid of a courtroom? That's courage for you. You created this monster, and you leave it for people like me to clean up. Or the Macrons to clean up. But at the time, I dressed up as a Klandace Ovens Jew because I was saying to myself, everyone, she's saying all this stuff. We Jews drink blood, we love money, we're killers. What if I got someone to visualize it? So for Purim, we dress up. It's like our Halloween, and I dressed up as a Klandace Ovens Jew. Big warts on my nose and dollar signs everywhere, and there was Catholic blood. Not real, for all you people who actually believe this crap. I don't know if it's Heinz ketchup or something else. And Heinz, please don't sue me. All over. The images went viral, and it put immense pressure on Ben Shapiro to finally fire her, even as Ben Shapiro attacked me, and then his disgusting, vile CEO, whose name, what's his name again? He was just fired or left or something. Jeremy Boring. Kishmo Kane, who was saying Hebrew, his name sums him up exactly. Jeremy, who is so boring. There was a song that came out at the time about Rabbi Shmuley attacking me. My kids all sent it to me. They loved it. So I was to all the anti-Semites out there who want to see me dead, shot, killed. Occasionally, you actually make me laugh. I don't want to thank you. In these dark times, to see how obsessed you are, all are with me, Dan Bilzerian, to see that you're not just obsessed with boobs and beating women up allegedly in nightclubs, that you actually seem to have a thing for me, Dan. Is that why you want me in the MMA ring? You want to see me in like tight shorts? Dan. Whenever you see a guy with 10,000 pictures of women in bikinis, you always have to kind of question. And by the way, I'm not a homophobe. I have fought to protect gay rights my entire life. I'm just not into people who suppress it. Dan, is that why you want to see a 58-year-old Jewish grandfather in really tight shorts in an MMA fight? I'll accommodate you, baby. Just you and me, Dan, baby.